I'm Mindy Gossett. I'm in the 12th grade. I'm a heroin addict. I started off because my ex-boyfriend shot me up with heroin without me knowing it, actually. So I started off there, and ever since I was shot up with heroin, it was basically downhill from there. After a few weeks of doing it, about a month or two, I got really into it, and I started doing several bags a day, multiple times a day, and it got to the point where I was shooting up during school, and I really couldn't even go a day or two without it.
Addiction is when you lose the ability and choice to not stop. We believe that the disease is chronic, progressive, and that it will lead to three things: jails, institution, or death. Our young people have lost the ability to say no once they take that first drink or drug. The disease sets off this phenomenon of cravings, obsession, where it occupies their thoughts, their movements, every aspect of their life it affects.
Short-term memory is greatly affected by alcohol and substance abuse. So what I did yesterday, they probably won't know today. So I have to repeat it, and then I have to repeat it the next day and the next day. You know, I do it up to about 7 times so that their brain has a chance to take that from the short term and get it into long-term memory.
When Daniel started using drugs, we didn't know what it was that was wrong, just had a feeling that something wasn't right and couldn't quite put our finger on it. But he would blow up very easily. He would get very, very angry over little things. His schoolwork went from, and he worked to hit the honor roll. It wasn't easy for him, but he had done it. When he began to use drugs and alcohol, he was failing all of his classes except art. He was unable to complete assignments. He was unable to follow tasks through. He lost the ability to do math.
It completely took me away from all of my friends, my family. I was completely isolated. I didn't care about anybody or anything except myself and where I was going to get my next fix. As for my family, they've been affected, I think, the most. I think I hurt them the most. I would steal from them, lie to them. I would do anything I could just to get my next fix. They have just lost all faith in me, so they can't trust me anymore. But I don't know, after 4 months of being clean, it's starting to come back, but it really hurt them.
Experiences that these kids have experienced: death. They've lost a lot of peers to this deadly disease that's killing our youth. They've seen jail at a young age numerous times, some of them. Conflicts with their family, their friends, their future. A lot of them had high expectations of their academic career, of going to college. For some of those are going to take a little bit longer than they anticipated. They're watching their peers that don't have this problem excel in areas in sports and all those things that they now are seeing that there's a deficit among their peers.
When I was in 8th grade, I hung out with my best friend was a senior. So, you know, her and all her boyfriends and all the kids that she hung out with were all doing it. So I'm like, you know, I want to fit in. So whatever they did, I did. Even if it could have killed me, I still did it. I got arrested when I was 14 for underage drinking. My grades dropped. I quit going to school, so I'd have to, you know, I'd get out of school suspension for that, and it was just bad. I think it finally just hit me. I was sick and tired of living the way I was and lying and having to wake up and figure out how I'm going to use that day and what I'm going to do to get drugs and just everything that comes, the lifestyle. I was sick of it.
I've grown up in the environment of my mother and my brothers. They used to drink, and my brother used drugs. And I saw how that impacted their lives, and I don't want my life to end up like that. My mom is fine now. She has been clean and sober for 15 years, and my brother is in prison. And that makes you feel terrible, to watch your brother go to prison for choices he's made in his life. He has about an hour a day to work out in the sunlight, and then after that, it's back to a cell. He sits there, reads books. Just be careful. Like, every choice you make impacts your life, no matter if it's, should I go to this party, or should I go study, or, well, maybe it's just one drink for the first time, or, just don't do it.
Well, in school, there's a lot of pressure to be in the popular groups, to be good, like nice to everyone, and just to be well known. My grandpa always told me, idle hands are a devil's workshop. So I'm always involved in sports and school, and I'm always busy with that. When people make the wrong decision, like I've personally seen students, athletes that I've known that make a bad decision, and then they get expelled from school, or they can't be involved in that athletic activity anymore, and their grades go down, and it's just they have trouble accomplishing what they first set out to do. It's going to change the rest of your life if you make that decision.
Big Tobacco knows that if they get young people to start using tobacco products at a very young age, they're likely to be a smoker for life or for 40 years. And either way, it makes them selling their products successful and profitable. It is expensive, and the addictive nature of tobacco. No one wants to talk about being addicted or having some kind of product control him or her, even young people.
Oh ma'am, I do not smoke nor use tobacco. Why not? I find that it's very bad for you. I'm not sure if it's exactly 4,000, but there are a lot of chemicals in a cigarette that, like rack poison, which is very harmful to your insides. I mean, you can make your own choices, and I think that's the best way to learn is through experiences, but that experience can one day kill you. And so who would want to experience something that eventually can shorten your life? Short-term consequences for somebody my age, well, I'm under 18, so it's illegal. That's a very big consequence if you get caught. Not only if you get caught, but just not doing it, You want to kind of lead by example, especially being an older teen starting to go into young adulthood. I find that other drugs have the same consequences as smoking. Not that you necessarily get cancer, but that they are drugs and can kill you. So why do something that can kill you? I feel in my life more important than vodka or tobacco. So not doing something is easier than actually doing it and then trying to hide it, I think. If you just don't do it, it's easier. So yeah, it keeps you out of trouble. Just say no.
I have a lot of friends that died or that are in prison, and you don't want to end up like that. So, you can talk to a parent. If you can't talk to a parent, a teacher, guidance counselor.
What you do in life now as a youngster may and can affect you as an adult. The ramifications of a criminal conviction as a juvenile, while the records are generally sealed, sometimes they can be used to enhance a criminal offense later on in life. So what happens now as a juvenile can come back and affect you later on in life. The one thing that you have to know is that once you get involved in the criminal justice system, it's hard to get out of it, because you know what? It's hard to pull yourself from that process. It's hard to stop hanging around those individuals, those influences that got you involved in it. Every life is precious. Every individual has so much potential, and you cloud that potential up when you cloud it up with drugs and or alcohol. I understand that the influences are there. I understand that the influences may be great in your area, be even at home. The situation may not be great, but you can overcome that. All right, people have overcome many different things to become and do great things in life. If you put yourself in a position where you end up in court, in juvenile court, it just hampers you. It gives you it gives you another stumbling block that you have to overcome.